Okay, who is React? Is anybody still using it? I'm just joking, but Next.js is becoming more and more popular during the last years. Why is that? Is React, Angular or Vue doing anything wrong, or is Next.js, or better said Vercel, who's developing it, just doing a lot of things right? Let's take a look at this. I've prepared a simple screenshot of a NPM trends chart diagram, and here we can see the downloads for the NPM packages for React and for Next. And this seems like, okay, React is far more popular than Next.js. Why should Next.js become the standard, or is already the standard for it? You see what you see because Next.js is based on React. So everybody who's using Next also uses the NPM package for React. But what I did now is some math calculations. I looked at around always January for every year and looked up how many users of React are Next.js users. So in 2020, we have 5.6%, so like not a lot. So like every 20th person is using Next.js. In the year 2021, it was 12.5% of the downloads of React. Next year, 15, 20, and now 25. So this is a consistent rise, and every fourth user is already using Next.js when developing instead of React. So why is that? This really seems like it's becoming a standard. I have another diagram here in relation to Angular, so Next.js and Angular. And here we see, okay, Angular always was a beast, and then it just stops growing. And where we see Next.js here in the orange path, it really gets higher and higher with the downloads. So it really is used a lot and it's growing a lot. But why does this even matter? Like, why should I choose a framework? Why is it a big decision? That's because in the evolving world of web development, it has a big impact of the success of your project. Like, which technology stack are you using? So a lot of people are searching it up. What technology stack should I use? Should it be Next.js, Angular, Vue? And they find these numbers, like Next.js is grinding a lot and Angular and Vue are just like, they're not going down, but they are not rising this fast upwards like Next.js is doing. So they ask themselves, okay, why should I choose Angular or Vue? I should just stick with React or Next.js. So this really matters because everybody wants to have a successful project, and it would be a bummer if you use a technology which is not supported in 3 years and then you have to write everything again. So now we know why this is mattering, and now it's time for a small disclaimer before we begin. I'm a Next.js developer and I'm a fanboy, so this is my perspective, and I will not lie here, but you will hear that I'm convinced Next.js is a winner framework. I will also not handle every framework here and just do a shout out here and there to some smaller frameworks, but this video should just give you a general overview. So with that out of the way, let's look to why is Next.js growing so fast. Okay, I have prepared something here. Where is it? Yes, there it is. This is like prime presentation stuff here. So we have the benefits of Next.js here under that rectangle. So let's look at the first benefit, and this is control over rendering strategies. Like for real, in React, everything is client-side. You just have the client-side thing. But there is so much more. There is server-side rendering, there is static site generation, there is incremental site regeneration, and there's also the new partial pre-render. Like Next.js just gives you so much control over how to render your application, so it gets faster and faster for every purpose you need to solve. So this is a big plus point. The next thing is Next.js simplifies some things for you. For example, let's take server actions. Server actions really is a great example for Next.js simplifying for you a lot of work, because they're taking the complex stuff and are solving it under the hood, or they're still making the normal thing, but they just present you with a nicer thing. I mean, I know that server actions might be not the perfect solution for everyone, but I'm sure that this is really a good thing. So you also don't need frameworks like Express for the backend, because Next.js is everything inside. It is a full stack framework. You can have your backend inside of Next.js. That's a big plus point again. The next thing is better technology under the hood. What do I mean with this? Next.js has better compilers. Like, for example, the speedy web compiler, which is written in Rust. React is using all the technology and Next.js is jumping on top of this and creates something better. So the next thing is SEO optimization. Next.js is just helping you. It provides things like heads and the whole meta tag stuff inside, so you can really use all those things and don't need to figure it out yourself. You just have these docs which are telling you how to do it. And the next thing is the file-based routing. So you don't need to create a router like you do it in React. You just have this file-based routing. So you want a route which is called, I don't know, posts. You just create a folder posts and put like a page TSX inside and you have a post route. Nothing more. It's just baked into the app route. Very good thing, which saves you a lot of time. And the last thing is we have good docs. Like for real, the documentation of Next.js is very, very good. It's so easy to search some things up. I can show it to you very quickly. So we just type in Next.js, go into the documentation here on the top, docs, and you have this app router, which is the new thing, and this pages router, which is the old thing or the older thing, but a lot of projects are still running with the pages router. And here you really can just say, okay, I want to know everything about routing the pages, and everything looks so clean and so minimalistic, but you really don't lack information here, and you just got a lot of things to learn here. So really you can spare nights on nights in this Next.js docs folder. Okay. One thing I missed here actually is in Next.js a lot of things are like optimized. For example, fonts. You really don't have a font problem. You just use it. It's just inside of Next.js. The font, every Google font is just inside of Next.js. You don't have to make a call to Google. So this is faster. You have links. So you don't need the A tag, you just write the link tag from Next, and there are so many functions inside of this, or the image from Next.js, which is already inside scaling up or down your pictures related to the size of it. So crazy things just inside of Next.js, which React doesn't have and which you have to do your own in React. So you save time again. Okay, but now I just talked about React. Are there benefits over Angular and Vue? Yes, they are. You have this big community from React, which you don't have in Angular or Vue. So a big community has the advantage that you just solve problems faster, because a lot of people have those problems, and a lot of Stack Overflow threads or a lot of let's say GitHub discussions about this topic if a lot of people are using it. So this is just a big factor when you decide which framework you should use. And everything like new stuff for example, this UI component library stuff like ShadCN, or let's say libraries with Framer Motion, all the new nice stuff for front-end development is primarily made for React. So also made for Next, but not for Angular and Vue. And the features are maybe coming never or a little bit later. So that are the two big advantages of Next. There's also this new Angular and old Angular, and people are getting very confused with this. And the rendering strategies the whole bunch of rendering strategies you have in Next.js are not fully supported now, still in Angular or Vue. And yeah, this is not like the best solution, I would say. But what about the smaller new kits at the block? Let's say Astro or Svelte or Solid.js. They are good, like really good. You have things like very small bundle sizes and very fast projects, or concepts like the Server Island feature from, I think it was Astro. So they will definitely rise, but Next.js has this React power and the bigger community and already a big lead. So it's going to be hard to catch up for these small frameworks or companies which are developing that. So let's get into another reason why people are more likely to switch from React to Next.js. And this is very simple. It's easy to do so. Like if you're developing Next.js, you basically do React. You just take these nice advantages and use them, but they are not very, very hard. You can just write completely normal React code. You write use client on top of every file and you're good to go. Like it's working. So the learning curve for a React user, which is starting with Next.js, is not that high. It just can slowly build in more and more Next.js stuff and improve the application. So this really is a big advantage, and I can unreveal these here at the top. So it's not like a jump from React to Angular where you literally have to learn the whole thing again, like you know TypeScript, and this is nice, but the internal framework stuff is completely different. And this is not the thing when you just jump from React to Next.js. So keep that in mind. But there's still some things you might need to consider when you're choosing Next.js. More functionality leads always to also more complexity. So yes, you have more functions in Next.js, and yes, they are nice. But having more functions, even if they are easy, they are making the whole thing more complex. So you need to be aware of that. Another thing is, like, if you have new ways to do things, like with the server-side rendering, you also have new problems, of course. They are like hydration problems because of the SSR. Like if you do things on the server but do it on the client differently, then you have these hydration errors. Or for example, this window thing. This is just a not existent thing. So the server doesn't have a window, it's just a client thing. Another thing is that you can't ignore just all features. For example, you have things like caching, and if you don't know how this is working, you might shoot yourself in the foot, which you don't want. Like, some things you really have to learn, because otherwise things can get a little bit complex and you don't understand why things are behaving like how they behave. Another thing is like you're falling into traps with use client or use server. So this is like the most common thing out there. And if you don't want to fall in this trap, I have a video on my channel where you can look at this. It's down in the description or now here. You can click on it, where I just explain the difference between use client and use server and how to not fall in this trap. Another thing is some Next.js specific things are a little bit abstracted from you, which can be good on one side, but also bad on the other side. Like this router, it's baked into Next.js. You don't understand how is it working, and very complex routing situations may need very complex solutions. So yeah, it's a good thing if things are abstracted from you, because it gets easier for the easy type of task you need to solve. But if you have a big problem and you want to solve a big problem, or you have just a complex thing because your company you work for just makes things completely complex, then you might end up with you're not possible to use this feature of Next.js, and you need to do everything on your own. But if you choose React, you still need to have to do everything on your own. So this is not solving your problem. So the last thing is, you're not drilled to use this features of Next.js, like not everything. You don't need to use the link component or the image component or the font option. It's up to you, like for real. But I would suggest to do so. But if you really have the specific use case where the link thing is just not working for you, you don't need to. Everything is fine. So let's get into a conclusion. Next.js will grow, as well as React, because otherwise this is not possible. It's a relationship between those together. But I think Next.js will grow faster than React, and maybe in a few years it's the standard solution. Like, people are not choosing React because they can use Next.js and there is a better documentation and there are way better tutorials, and yeah, so I think they will both grow, but Next.js will grow faster and will become the standard solution for web development. Yeah, like I wrote it down here. And my advice for you, if you start learning, like for real, if you just watch this video and you not started web development, don't go for React, just go for Next.js, and then you learn both. Like, I mean, learn both. You should not learn React and then Next.js. You should just start with Next.js, because if you start with Next.js and you learn Next.js and this is like the first framework, you also learn React. So that's my advice for you. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos. I will make more videos about Next.js now. So stick to the next one, next Sunday or Monday. I will try it around then. And yeah, we see each other. Bye bye.